Today I'm going to show you how to create a free AWS account so you could learn how to build and develop cloud applications. Why would you want to do this? Because whenever you create a new account, you get free stuff, and you can just go on aws.amazon.com/free and see that you get 1 million AWS Lambda invocations, 1 million SNS messages, and 25 gigabytes of free DynamoDB table storage. How do we get that? You just go on aws.amazon.com/free and click Create a Free Account. It's going to ask you for a root user email address and your AWS account name. So obviously you would put in the email address that you actually use or you have access to, because it will send you a verification code, and you can put whatever you want in AWS account name. And then you click Verify Email Address, and now we got the verification code. We put it in here, and now it says that your email address has been verified, and then it obviously asks you for the password. So make sure you set up a password that you either write down somewhere or put it in your like LastPass, or I'm using Bitwarden now, and make sure you store it somewhere securely, because you don't want somebody gaining access to your account, created a bunch of resources, and you getting a bill for like $1 million. And then it asks you how you're gonna plan to use it. You can just say it's personal, and then it asks you a bunch of personal information. And part of that is because it will also ask you for a credit card. And unfortunately, there is not really a way around it, except getting like a prepaid one. But I have not had any issues with the AWS ever, and I do check my credit card balance once a month. We're going to populate all of these fields. I'm probably going to blur them, because I don't want anybody showing up at my house or using my identity for anything. So we fill out all of this stuff, and then we click Continue, and that's, again, it's asking me for a credit card, and I can just put a credit card on file. I don't know the consequences of you creating several accounts, but from what I've heard from people is that they just register a new account and get 12 more months of free stuff. I have not tried that myself, so take it with a grain of salt. So here we're populating our credit card information, and then you can use your contact address or new address, and it wants you to verify your identity. So even though we've already verified it with the email, they want to have your phone number as well, because emails are way easier to create than phone numbers. And if you try to create like a voice over IP phone number, somehow they always detect that, hey, it's not a real number, give us a real number. So we're gonna send SMS, and then we wait for the code, and the code is this. And now it asks you to select a support plan. Basically what it means is how fast will they get to you in case you have any issues with any of the services. And here we just need the free account. We don't really need anything else, because we can always Google stuff, we can ask ChatGPT, and if you're just experimenting with stuff and not actually building something that you're going to use in production for a while, then really there is no sense in paying $29 or $100. So here we just click Complete Sign Up, and congratulations, we now have an AWS account. And obviously they want to collect more data about you. You don't have to provide it. You can just go to what's called AWS Management Console. So here it's gonna offer you to sign in as an IAM user, but since we do not have an IAM user in our new account, we're gonna click Sign in user root email address, and then put in the email address that we used. Obviously enter the password, and voila, that's your home screen for what's called AWS Management Console. Here you create, delete, modify, experiment, whatever you want to do. The first thing you want to do after creating a new AWS account is create an admin user. You just don't want to use root account for anything really. If somebody gains access to your root account, then you're pretty much screwed. So what we want to do is go to IAM, and then let's see, tells me I have 2 roles. Okay, so I guess these are just automatically created. So what we actually want is go to users on the here on the left side. So we click Create User. We put in our username, and then we can provide access to the AWS Management Console to this user. it does tell us that it's really not the best practice and we should manage their access in IAM Identity Center. Unless you're going to create like an organization where you're going to manage multiple users, it should be fine for you to just create an IAM user, set up auto-generated password, say that they must create a new password at the next sign-in, and then basically we can just attach policies directly, and what we're after is the administrator access here. Basically, we want to create an account for ourselves that is almost like root account that will let us create and manage resources. But we don't want to use the root account. We attach the administrator access policy, click next, and then let's see. So we just review and create. You can tag things. So tagging doesn't really do anything. It just helps you with billing later or just finding resources in general. If you have multiple applications in your AWS account, then you can just tag each resource for like each application accordingly. But we don't need any of that right now. We just click create user, and then we get the new console signed in URL, and we do get the password. What we do now is go to this link that was created for us. We did not copy the password, so apparently it logs you out when you're trying to log in elsewhere. I should have just opened an incognito tab. That's fine though, because we just go back and I'll just show you how to actually get back to it. So here, if you don't know how to get here, just go to search for IAM, click users, here the only user we have, and then we go to security credentials because we don't see the password anymore. So we click manage console access. Obviously we want to keep it enabled, and we just set the auto-generated password again and say that user must create a new password. So now we apply it. So now let me not repeat my mistake and actually go and open private window. We paste our URL there, and now it asks us for new information. We copy the password after clicking show, and then we paste the new password. So it asks us for the old password, we just paste it again, we put the new password in, and then we confirm password change. And voila, we now use administrator user to access our console. Same thing, you just go and do whatever you want, and now you have permissions to still create and delete things. So one other thing you want to do is, if you see we have console access enabled without multi-factor authentication. If somebody gets a hold of your password, then they can just log in. You can just click on here, and as a best practice, enable MFA for users who have console access. And then you select which type of MFA device you want to use. The simplest is Authenticator app, so you can just use Google Authenticator or like the one from Microsoft or whatever. So we can just identify the device that's easily recognizable. It tells you that you can use Google Authenticator, do mobile Authy app, whatever. Then you show QR code, then you scan the QR code with your phone after you open your Authenticator app. So for example, whenever you open Google Authenticator, there's this plus sign, and once you press it, it tells you scan the QR code to enter a setup key. We would just scan the QR code, it would generate an MFA code for this application, then you put in the MFA code, then you regenerate an MFA code and put it in here and click add MFA, and you're set. And that is pretty much it on how you create a new AWS account with the free tier and have access to a bunch of different cool things that you can experiment with. So just go and start building.